Hello everybody, Manlius here, and welcome to As We Descend. And this is a roguelike deck builder game, akin to Slay the Spire, but has its own unique elements and twist to bring to the genre. And so I'm quite excited to play this, as I have hundreds of hours in Slay the Spire. This is early access, so there may be some bugs, and it is quite consistently updating, as you can see here in the lower right. And a new update just came out, and this is, I have previously played a couple minutes of the game, but I would like to very much start a brand new Descent with this new update. So with all that being said, let's go. So here we have our origin of votive and some key traits here. One of those is our energy, or our command, and that is what we use to play combat cards. Another important gameplay aspect is rune, which we can use in a turn to discard a card from hand and draw a new one. We start each battle with 3 runes, and it persists between turns. So each battle we have three times that we can discard a card and draw a new one. We also have empowered, which charges up the empowered perk for this unit. Okay, so your roots lay with the crafters and forge smiths of the votive faction. So let's run this vault. Alright, the Vault City. To perform actions in the city, drop cards into locations. So we have a summons, and a command bearing the blood red seal of the Troika. You would be wise to go. So we just drag and drop that card there. In Cycle 1, answer the summons. Before you stands the Lord Attendant, High Steward of Missives and Speaker for the Troika Regency. This cycle brings mixed tidings. The force field has drained, and the Vault City's energy has abandoned us. The commoners whisper of end times, but know that this means Ava will fulfill the prophecy. May the machine god bring us to haven. You, the Troika Council, has decided. You are granted the title of Warden of the Wall. You will retrieve the parts to restore energy to the city. Warden of the Wall? What is that? It is not a title granted lightly. The restriction on venturing into the blighted land remains for those in the city, but you will be able to pass beyond the gates with a handful of your loyalists. Once you cross that threshold, there is but a small price to pay. You are exiled beyond the wall for fear of rotten taint. Make camp outside our gates. And what if I refuse? None can disobey the Troika. So what happens if I shall be the first? He gives the slightest glance to the guards, and you hear the creaking of their armor. Time stands still but for a moment, before they take their first step. We merely jest. I apologize for this transgression. Let's go find that reactor rod and try and solve the power crisis. Wise choice, Warden, he glares. And I will not forget your moment's hesitation. Take your forces and the expedition party, bring them to the rally point to depart and find the reactor part. After you restore the power, you will be able to use the envoys to their full effect. They can compel citizens to your aid. And so for that we get 2 expedition forces, and these are scavengers who can be sent to ruins and caves to gather resources. They're also cycle bound, which means whether you play this card or not, it's permanently removed at the end of this cycle. So we can send our forces along with 6 scavengers to scavenge resources outside the city. We also get 2 envoys. And here you see three stats: strength, intelligence, and charisma. Higher stats improve odds of success in certain city events, and these envoys are primarily used to just talk to folks in the city and maybe open up whatever they have to offer. So let's collect all of them and leave. Alright, and now we can explore the city. Locations work differently depending on the type of card you use. Certain cards can only be dropped into certain locations. City cards don't cost anything to play, and our expedition forests and envoy cards will return to us after each cycle. So we can play these as many times as we want for as long as we have them. And so as you see, we have a couple of people to talk to. One, we can investigate the dark alley to search for resources, or we can deploy an expedition. Let's say we investigate this dark alley, see what we can find. With nary a light save the Emperor's glow, your envoy gets stuck in the side alley. This cloying darkness would surely be dispelled should you restore power to the city. Given their predicament, they might as well scrounge something up. A light glimmers to the left, and a noise catches their attention to the right. So we can either seek the light and gain one favor, which these are used to play special combat actions, and right now we don't have any favor. Or we can go and find some copper, which are used to purchase goods and services in the city. I think we should seek the light and gain that favor, because having this favor may allow us to be more combat effective. An elder leads a prayer in the dark. Your ally lends their faith. Okay. And let's send our expedition forth to this rally point. The first expedition, Scavenger. The scavengers take out a map with pins of nearby objectives. They trust you to choose a destination. They'll need you to protect them from hazards outside the safety of the walls. Remember, the Lord Attendant said to retrieve the reactor rod. So they also give us 8 favors, so let's accept that favor and choose a destination. So we can go one of 2 places. We can get that reactor rod for the Lord Attendant, or we may be able to get some amorphous ore. Let's get the reactor rod first. Alright, skittering foes. Scalar. Enemies will scale quickly in power as battle wears on. Attack bonus is an increased attack power. And these are bloodthirsty molters, which grow in strength. Dispatch of them quickly. And here's kind of our ready screen. So on our left here, we have our forces. And right now we only have one, which is a vanguard. So we'll insert them into here. Our lantern is kind of our hub, which tells us how many favor we have and how many scavengers we have available as well. And here's our health. So if our lantern reaches 0, we have to retreat back. And to our right, it shows our battle deck. So we have light barrier, which applies 4 barrier that absorbs damage. Our aurora beam, which deals 9 damage and applies 2 dizzy, which is like a stagger. And if our stagger gauge fills up on the enemy, that will leave them stunned, which allows them to not have a turn. Then we have Empower, and that gives us increased strength and special abilities. And Alacrity, which is used to gain 1 rune and draw 2 cards. Reposition, and this allows us to switch between either the support zone or the guard zones, which we'll talk about. And Smite, which deals 4 damage and 4 stagger. And down here, I think, is our attack capabilities, our defense capabilities, and I want to say our stagger capabilities or our special capabilities, but more of that to come. So let's deploy for battle. And moving outside of the city walls, we are greeted by 2 Molter enemies. And here we have our support zone. And so units in the support zone aren't prioritized by enemies with standard attacks, as long as we have units in the guard zone, which the guard zone is when they are prioritized by enemies with standard attacks. So what we can do is these two units are going to be moving up to their guard zone. So we're going to empower our units, and its unique perk is charged up for the rest of battle. Activate different perks to turn the battle in your favor, so each unit has a unique perk. And so for this one, they get a might bonus. So it increases the stagger values and added stagger on hits for all enemies by +1. We're going to, let's see, we have 3 command left, so we can do this and hit him with that and hit him there too, and we'll stay in the support zone. So auto attack, the unit requires the guard zone to use their auto attack. So as they attack us, if we're in the guard zone, then we can auto attack and kind of retaliate. Okay, so we're gonna reposition, and then we're gonna use a light barrier and then aurora beam, and that should stagger him. So when he's staggered, if we target its weak points, we can inflict critical damage. But unfortunately, we're out of command. Enemy intent. You can see enemy intents, allowing you to plan around their actions. When we end the turn, the enemy will perform its intended action. This enemy intends to do a standard attack, which can reach your units even in the support zone. You can barrier to absorb expected damage. We can also stagger enemies for a chance to interrupt them before they attack. Okay, so I think we'll try that. We're already empowered, and we have 2 barrier. So I think we're going to apply 4 more barrier to mitigate that damage, and we'll inflict some damage and a little bit of stagger in our turn. Okay. Let's go ahead and smite again. That should stagger him. And we'll hit his weak spot for 6 additional critical damage. What we can also do is we can apply 4 light barrier, because that'll give us 2 next turn. And as you can see, in the guard zone, we do an additional attack at the end of our turn. So let's see if we can finish it. Wonderful. Our first victory. And here we have a couple of different options. So next to each growth, or node, I should say, you'll see a number. And that is how many scavengers we need in order to successfully scavenge these nodes. So for this one, there's a large mass of corruption that must be cleared by scavengers first, and it is likely to contain a rare item. And it also has this biomass anomaly next to it, which is more likely to contain a rare organic item than usual. We're going to see exactly what's in there. It's a super grub, squirming superfood. Someone could become much stronger with this. So we're going to take that. And as you can see, we only have 2 available scavengers left. And the chances of us successfully finding the items within this node go down to 29%. Because we need 7 to do that successfully to get 100%. Whereas on here we need 4. So with only our 2 scavengers provides us a 50% success rate. Now, I don't want to go into anything haphazardly, so I think we'll just collect our reactor node. And we'll leave. So it says you're about to skip rewards. We still have scavengers left to use on this expedition. They're wasted if you leave now. So what we could do is we could try and use our 2 to find this node. And so we get the replace lantern card. Draft a new lantern card to replace an existing one. Okay, so we were successful in that. What lantern card do we want? Do we want to apply 8 barrier, get 2 rune, apply empower to 1, add lockstep 1 to your hand. And lockstep is ethereal, which means if this card is in your hand at the end of the turn, banish it. But this allows us to switch our unit zone. So if we play this at the beginning of the round, we could automatically go into the guard zone empowered, which is pretty good, I think. Or we can get a 5 barrier to all friendly units in the zone. Or at least in the zone that it shares with those units. I wouldn't mind lockstep. But this 5 barrier is pretty good too, because then that will allow me to save command if I ever have more than 1 card. So we can replace this light barrier. Okay, and so we're kind of adding to our deck, and now we can leave. And so we're back here at the hub. So we can use our reactor rod, and let's just place it in this one over here. The Lord attended. It is foretold. The warden brings the radiant hope back to the city. The workers will immediately restore critical power. This will give you access to the market plaza, along with adding a meager force field to our defenses. It would be wise to find more. Yet, you mentioned trouble outside of the walls. Yeah, insectile horrors look beyond. He raises an eyebrow. Just some filthy molters. In case you run into anything bigger, we're sending you these imbued crossbows. A small squad of crossbow troopers file in, and careful with them. It's the last of our spare Mythian reserves. If you're expecting further reinforcements, you'll need to furnish the Mythian yourself. Why the need for special equipment to field more units? We don't just have them available? The Mythian used for miasma-proof equipment lurks well outside the safe reaches of the city. If you want more followers to join you outside the walls, you'll need to recover them yourself. Okay, so let's take our reward. So draft a new unit, and we'll get 20 force field to restore to the city. And here we're presented with 3 different arbalest units. So who do we want to take? So the deadly arbalest has a couple of different cards available to it. 1 being steady shot, and 2 is a mystery card. But this mystery card's name, which we'll reveal if we draft this unit, is to deal 14 damage and apply fixation, which prioritizes attacking that specific target if we're in the guard zone. And we also get just the standard mix of cards with reposition and steady shot. Let's look at the strafing arbalest. And his special card gives us 4 damage and move to the guard zone. And so it hits 3 times. Which means that when there's another unit in the same zone as this unit, this bonus effect will trigger. So that could be a 12 total damage, so long as we have another unit in the guard zone. And finally, the critical arbalist, which applies one fixation and one critical aim. Okay. I like this one because I think we're always going to have those units in our guard zone. Primarily our vanguard units. So I think we'll take the strafing arbalist and see how that works for us. All right. Wherever the corpse of a man is, there the vermin will gather. After the tribulation of those cycles, Astrum will be darkened, and the sphere will not give its light, and the cores will fall from the sky, and the powers of the celestials will be shaken. From the Blighted World Psalm. And we get 20 force field, so we'll collect that and leave. All right. We have a couple of new points of interest on the map. So one, we can go to the market shop or the market plaza. We also have this unknown locale here as well. So let's see. Mystery shop, market plaza. Let's go to the market shop. Okay. So here's this gentleman. Restock a bit each cycle. He has a couple of different items for us. So this particular item, one of our envoys would need 11 or greater charisma. As you can see, we have a 20% chance to succeed. I'd rather not take that risk right now. We can upgrade a lantern card. So choose a lantern card to upgrade to its enhanced form. We can get 2 bandages to restore 8 health to any unit. Or a Miracle of Ava. Draft a new Ava miracle card. We also have Favor here. I kind of want to get bandages because I think those might be helpful. So we'll take those. And we'll leave. Location busy. Locations go on cooldown after event choices. Cooldowns count down when you end the cycle. Okay. I can use this super grub somewhere. Can I use that here? Old mentor. Your old mentor is hammering away at a red-hot copper plate. He turns, abruptly firing off a question. What's better, attacking or defending? I would say that attacking is the secret of defense. Wrong. It's about catching your opponent off guard. Hit them with impact to keep them off balance. Lesson learned. Which means we can upgrade a unit's combat card into its enhanced form. Let's see. What would be... So a smite plus would give us 6 damage and 6 stagger. Well, a strafing run would give us 6 damage. For potentially a total of 18. Let's go ahead and upgrade a smite. Alright. And it looks like we've exhausted much of that, but we still have one more expedition to play, so let's do that. Okay. So we could get an amplifier module, or we can go for the next reactor rod, which I think is what we'll do. And here we have a new enemy, the Symbiosis, and they have Armor Shred, which is reduced armor. Negative armor increases damage taken instead, counts down each turn. And Splat, vermin afflicts you with gunk, and that's on death, so when they die, they give us that gunk. A tall lasher leads the way. Vermin follow in its footfalls, eager for fresh meat. Okay. So if we only play one unit, we'll get 1 plus scavenger. I don't necessarily like those odds, so I think we're gonna play both. Okay. Yeah, we'll play both of them for now. So we have our bandages in here as well. So if we need to, we can heal. But we're gonna go ahead, reposition. Give them light barrier. And we'll take out the vermin first. So he's already staggered. And another critical hit. Guarding. The unit is now guarding because it's in the guard zone. Enemies with standard attacks must hit the guarding units first. Okay. Let's see if we can hit him. We took him down. We're going to reposition. Apply 5 barrier to all. We'll hit him with a strafing run. And let's see. Let's go ahead and apply 4 barrier here as well. Okay. Let's hit him with that. And now he's staggered. Wonderful. Look at that. Victory. So we have 6 scavengers. Let's get our reactor rod. And we have it. We can get this for sure. It's a major growth. Or we can get this minor growth and this major growth. But this has a biomass attached to it. I think we'll get this. And in it is a dream fruit. Medicinal uses may be found for this strange fruit, for those who can tolerate its acrid odor. And we'll try this. Alright. So 8 plus 2 gives a total of 10. And that's all the scavengers we have. So trade in items. You just got an item card. Trade this item in the city for rewards. But we don't really know who to give it to. Most excellent. The council will be pleased. With the city at half power, any reactor rod after this one can be spent to improve specific locations instead. So let's restore 20 force field. The force field is slowly pieced back together, staving off the miasma and beast alike. I want to see what happens when we get 100 or all of our force field back up first. Okay, and this guy can take the dream fruit. The way of the empty mind. Caretaker. Time to forget the trauma of battle. Soothe the soul with the dream fruit slumber. So we can do a couple of things. We can meditate and forget a combat card, or we can restore a unit back to maximum health, or take our item back and leave. I always feel like a smaller deck is almost better sometimes, so let's forget a card. I would like to forget a reposition. Okay. All right. So I guess we go to the next cycle now. All right. And before we start the second cycle, we'll stop the episode here. I hope this game is interesting to you, because I find it really interesting. I'm excited to see how in-depth the deck building and I guess kind of the units and how they operate with each other will work. So in any case, I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next time.